You know, sometimes a single game tells you everything, and I mean everything, you need to know about a team's entire season. It's not just about the final score. It's about the chaos, the comebacks, and, well, the sheer weirdness of it all. For the 2025 Louisville Cardinals, the Boca Raton Bowl was that game, a season in a nutshell. I mean, listen to this quote. When a sports journalist starts their game recap with words like zany and comedic relief, you know you're in for a wild ride. This wasn't your typical high-stakes, dramatic bowl game. No. This was something else entirely. And to really understand just how strange this whole thing was, you have to appreciate the backdrop. Forget the usual corporate logos you see everywhere. This bowl game was sponsored by, of all things, baked beans. And the details are just, they're incredible. So the sponsor was Bush's Baked Beans, and the stadium was apparently just filled with bean paraphernalia. The official spokesperson? Comedian Keegan-Michael Key. You know, the guy famous for his hilarious football parodies. And the coin toss? You gotta love this. The official coin toss didn't have heads or tails. It had the face and the tail of Duke, the famous Bush's Baked Beans dog. You just can't make this stuff up. What a bizarre, lighthearted setup for a football game. But here's the thing. All the baked beans and comedy in the world couldn't really mask the tension that was bubbling under the surface for Louisville. This team had spent the entire 2025 season being just frustratingly inconsistent. And that identity, it was about to take center stage. So the game gets going, and it unfolds in a way that was almost poetic. It was a perfect mirror of their entire season. A first half just full of struggles and missed opportunities, followed by a second half where it felt like a switch just flipped, and they suddenly exploded. And this right here is where you see the whole season play out in just 2 quarters. The first half was an exercise in frustration. A missed field goal, a costly fumble, they just couldn't get anything going on third down. But then, after halftime, it was like a completely different team walked out of that locker room. All of a sudden, they score 2 passing touchdowns, the run game comes alive, and they storm out to a commanding 21-3 lead. So what was the difference, right? Where did that second half ignition even come from? Well, it came from 2 key players in the backfield who basically decided to take over the game. 214. That was the combined rushing yardage for Brown and Keyjuan Brown. This was the spark. This was the 1-2 punch that finally got the Louisville offense roaring. You had Keyjuan setting up 1 touchdown and Isaac running in another. Just dominant. But just when it looked like Louisville had this thing all locked up, the fourth quarter happened. And folks, things went from interesting to absolutely bonkers. It was just pure, unadulterated chaos. Get this. The 2 teams combined for 32 points in the final 15 minutes alone. Now, to put that in perspective, they only scored 10 points combined in the entire first half. This wasn't some slow, methodical comeback attempt. It was a complete offensive free-for-all. Okay, just look at this sequence of events. Brown breaks 3 for a 53-yard touchdown. Game over, right? Should be. Wrong. Toledo blocks the extra point and then returns it all the way back for 2 points. It's called a Scooby. Suddenly, it's 27-18. Then, Toledo hits a massive 50-yard field goal, making it a 1-score game. And just to cap it all off, with 2 minutes left, a brawl breaks out on the sideline. I mean, what a completely unhinged ending. So when the dust finally settled, it was impossible not to see it. This one bizarre, chaotic up-and-down game wasn't some weird outlier. No, it was the entire 2025 Louisville season packed into a single, crazy evening. And it all just lines up so perfectly with their season-long identity. The offense struggled mightily before just exploding out of nowhere. The defense, yeah, it bent, but it didn't break, holding on despite some really key penalties. And the overall vibe, unpredictable, chaotic, but somehow they found a way to win. That was the story of this game, and that was the story of their entire season. And so, the final score was Louisville 27, Toledo 22. It was a victory that perfectly lived up to the team's nickname, the Cardiac Cards, because you know they are guaranteed to give their fans a heart attack. So yeah, it was a fun, bizarre, and ultimately successful end to a pretty head-scratching season. But it leaves you with one really big question. Surviving on chaos is one thing, but can you build a future on it? Is this brand of football entertaining? Oh, absolutely. But is it a sustainable formula for winning? Well, that remains to be seen.